So in this video, we're trying to review arc functions of arc trig functions, basically. So let's go back to arcsine. What is an arcsine? Arcsine, the input is a ratio. So the input is a ratio, and the output is a radian value. The input goes from -1 to 1. That's the ratio. That's the output of sine function. And then the output is basically an angle that is in either in the first or the fourth quadrant, and so that's the arc sine. And then, so what about arc cosine? Arc cosine input again is a ratio, and then the output is an angle, and then the angle for the cosine is in the first and second quadrant. And the ratio still is -1 to, I'm sorry, the input is between -1 and 1 including. So then for sine and cosine, the domain is the same. Domain is the ratio that sine and cosine output is. And so the output only goes with, of sine and cosine is between -1 and 1. For tangent, the output of tangent is between -infinity to +infinity. So input of arctan is between -infinity and +infinity. Again, and this is because when we're discussing the arctan, arcsine, arc functions, they're inverse of a piece of their trig functions, basically. But in output of arctan is matching the arcsine, and it's going to be in the first and the fourth quadrant. And these are the pictures of them. That one is arcsine, arc cosine, and arctan, and that gives you a little bit of an idea how they operate. A little bit more on PreCalculus review of the arcsine, arc cosine, or arctan. So when you're saying that, when you're discussing value y equal to arc sine of x, you're saying you're looking for an angle theta right here, such that the sine of theta is x. That means I can do the opposite over the hypotenuse, and that would be x. So that's theta. And then I can find, using Pythagorean theorem, find the other side, which is square root of 1 minus x squared. And then I can use that to find, for that theta, to find cosine and tangent and so on and so forth. So using the triangle, I can find that sine of arcsine is going to be x. See, remember this part is still theta. That's theta. And then cosine of theta is this side over this side, which is adjacent divided by hypotenuse. So it's square root of 1 minus x squared. Tangent of theta is going to be opposite over hypotenuse, which is given over there as well. So same thing happens when you have arc cosine. Then you can start with finding the triangle that arc cosine works on, or works well with. And so you find arc cosine is an angle, and so that's theta right here, and it's an angle whose cosine is x. So our cosine of theta should be x, so the adjacent divided by hypotenuse should be x. And I find the other side by basically Pythagorean theorem, and I get this. And then using these, I can find here sine of theta. Sine of theta is going to be this side divided by hypotenuse. Cosine of theta is going to be just x. Arc tan of arc cosine, which is tan of theta in here, is going to be this side divided by that side. And so you move on with that as well. And same thing works when you are discussing tan. When you're discussing tan, then you're saying arctan of x is an angle theta such that tangent of theta is x, that is x over 1. And then you find the other side, and then you use that to find sine of theta. Here again, theta is here, sine of theta, cosine of theta, and tan of theta. So we use this information about precalculus to actually find the derivative of the inverse trig functions, which are the arc trig or arc functions. And that's in the next video.